There is an AI agent running inside your organization right now. It has access to production systems. It can read customer data. It can call internal APIs. And nobody in your IAM team approved it. Not because someone made a mistake. This is the gap that is quietly building up inside every GCC and every bank in India right now. And today we are closing it. Here is the question we should be asking loudly enough. When an AI agent accesses your systems, who is it? Not what application it belongs to, not which team built it. Who is it as an identity? Does it have an owner? Does it have defined access boundaries? Does it get reviewed? Does it get revoked when it is no longer needed? For human users, yes, you have all of that. Joiner, mover, leaver, certified, reviewed. For AI agents, almost universally, the answer is no. And here is the part that should make every IAM professional uncomfortable. AI agents do not just sit there passively. They act. They call APIs based on intent. They chain decisions together. They do things at machine speed that a human would take hours to do manually. Now give that kind of capability to an identity with no governance around it. That is not an application risk. That is an identity risk. Your risk. We have been here before. Cast your mind back to how enterprises handled service accounts 10 years ago. Created for one purpose. Given broad access because it was easier. Never reviewed, never rotated. Owner left the company 2 years ago, but the account is still active. Sound familiar? We spent years untangling that mess, remediating orphan accounts, rebuilding governance frameworks from scratch. And right now, in 2026, we are walking straight into the same trap. Except, AI agents move faster than service accounts ever did. They have broader access than most service accounts ever had. And the consequences of getting it wrong are exponentially larger. We cannot afford to learn this lesson twice. So here is what we are building today. 4 controls. Practical, specific, implementable in your current environment. Each one answers a question your CISO will ask you. Each one is something you can start on this week. Let's go. Control 1. Register the agent as an identity. Control 1 sounds basic. It is not happening. Every AI agent in your enterprise needs to exist as a registered identity in your IGA platform. Not just in a config file, not just in a developer's deployment notes, in your IGA platform with a record, like a human employee. That record needs 4 things. A unique identity, ID. A named human owner, someone accountable for what that agent does. A defined purpose, what it is built to do and explicitly what it is not allowed to do. An environment classification, prod, UAT, sandbox, and what data tiers it can touch. Why does this matter so much? Because right now your access certification campaigns are running every quarter. They are reviewing human access. They are reviewing service accounts. But AI agents, they are invisible to the process entirely. Control 1 makes them visible. No agent goes to production without a record. No record without an owner. No owner without accountability. Your CISO asks, who owns the agent that accessed our core banking API? With control 1, you have the answer in 30 seconds. Without it, you are searching through deployment logs hoping to find a developer's name. Control 2, kill standing access. This is the one that changes everything architecturally. Right now, most AI agents have standing access. Standing access means the agent always has permission to a resource, whether it is actively using it or not. Think about what that means if the agent gets compromised. An attacker who hijacks the agent through prompt injection, and we covered exactly how that works in video 10, inherits every standing permission that agent holds. Instantly, silently, with legitimate credentials. The blast radius is enormous. Control 2 eliminates standing access entirely. Here is how it works. The agent needs to complete a task. It requests a scoped token from your identity broker. That token grants access only to the specific resource needed for that specific task. The token expires the moment the task completes, or after a hard maximum time window. Just in time, just enough. Gone when done. If an attacker compromises the agent mid-task, they get a token that opens one door and expires in minutes. That is the difference between a breach that touches one system and a breach that touches everything. OAuth 2.0 token scoping has existed for years. This is not new technology. What is new is applying it deliberately to every AI agent instead of defaulting to standing service account permissions because it was easier to set up. Control 3, the on behalf of principle. This one will save you in a regulatory audit. Simple rule, an AI agent can never access more than the human who invoked it. Read that again. An AI agent can never access more than the human who invoked it. Here is why this is critical in a BFSI context. A relationship manager at your bank invokes an AI agent to pull a customer summary. That RM has access to retail customer records. They do not have access to corporate banking data. They do not have access to credit risk models. But if the agent was built without this principle, it might have access to all of those things. The moment that RM invokes the agent, suddenly data they could never access directly is available through the agent. That is a privilege escalation path. Invisible, unintended, completely real. The fix is an intersection policy built into your agent architecture. Agent permissions intersected with user permissions equals actual execution scope. If the user cannot see it, the agent cannot see it on their behalf. Under RBI and SCBI frameworks, data access boundaries are not suggestions. This control is how you enforce those boundaries in an AI-enabled environment. Build it in from day one. Retrofitting it later is painful. Control 4. Audit beyond the log. Your SIM is not enough for AI agents. I need you to sit with that for a moment. Your SIM tells you what happened. API called, timestamp, source, response code. For human users, that is sufficient. For AI agents, it is half the picture. Because with an AI agent, what happened is only meaningful if you also know why. Why did the agent call that API? What prompt triggered that chain of decisions? Was that behavior intentional? Or was the agent redirected mid-task by a malicious prompt? Your SIM cannot answer any of those questions. An auditor reviewing your logs will see 847 API calls made by an agent last Tuesday. They cannot tell you whether those were legitimate task executions or the result of a prompt injection attack that quietly redirected everything the agent did for 4 hours. Control 4 is a dedicated telemetry pipeline for your AI agents. You capture LLM trace data, the reasoning chain, the tool calls, the inputs and outputs using open telemetry or open inference frameworks. And you map every trace back to the agent's identity record from control 1 and the scope token from control 2. Now when someone asks, can we prove this agent never acted outside its intended scope? You do not just have logs. You have a complete identity linked audit trail of every decision the agent made and why it made it. That is the difference between passing an audit and spending 3 months trying to reconstruct what actually happened. The CISO conversation. Pull these 4 controls together and look at what you have built. Who owns this agent? Control 1. Named owner, registered identity, IGA platform. What can it access? Control 2. Nothing standing, scoped tokens, expires on task completion. Can it access more than the invoking user? Control 3. No, intersection policy, hard boundary. Can we prove it behaved correctly? Control 4. Yes, full contextual telemetry linked to identity. 4 questions your CISO will ask. 4 controls that answer every single one. This is not a theoretical framework. This is a conversation you can walk into next week. And here is what changes when you walk in with this. You are not the person raising a problem. You are the person presenting a solution that leadership did not know they needed yet. That is a fundamentally different position to be in. The bigger picture. Let me be direct with you. AI agents are not slowing down. Every quarter there will be more of them in your environment. More access, more autonomy, more surface area. Most IAM teams are watching this happen and waiting for someone else to define the governance model. Do not wait. The IAM professional who steps forward right now with a framework, with controls, with a language that maps to what the CISO and the audit team already understand, that person is not doing extra work. They are defining what enterprise IAM looks like for the next decade. That is not an L2 conversation. That is an architect conversation. And it starts with 4 controls that you now have.